Alright, this is my latest mock. I made Obi Wan's Starfighter. I've always wanted Obi Wan's because of the fact that I've had Anakin's for a while. And it's honestly bugged me that I couldn't see them side by side, but it's perfect. I love it so much. So, there are a lot of similarities, mostly because I based this one off of that one. But there are a lot of differences that I'm going to go over right now. For starters, this one has different colors. Yeah, I know, I'm funny. No, but seriously. Okay. R2 unit. This one's an actual figure. This one is not. There are several different reasons why this one is just a head. Starting off with the fact that I don't actually have Obi Wan's unit. I didn't actually think that that was a figure, and then I looked it up, and yeah, it is a figure. In rare sets. So, that's not happening. But this is actually a rarer piece. This is from one of the old sets. Not too old, but like early 2000s. I believe it is the old hyperdrive build. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Then, obviously, this one has a lot more color. It's like, yeah, there's minor black details, but it's mostly gray and yellow. But this one has green, red, and white. So that's another difference. Another difference is the actual texturing on this thing. So you can see that this one has tiling right there. This one goes continued through there. This wing is skinnier than this one, mostly because of the fact that one of these wings is actually snapped. If you could see right there. That right there is not just a simple scratch, it is actually cracked down the center. So I had to reinforce them. And then I just started building up and up and up because of the fact that I needed other colors. And honestly, it looks really nice. I put these in here because it really annoyed me, the gap right there. But this one had a bigger gap, so I kind of just went and filled the gap. Anyway, there is a little bit of a ditch right here, and that's mostly because of the fact that this is a lot thicker than that wing. And just for some proof, here are the two different wings. So, I'm going to take these off and actually stand them by themselves. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, this is 3 or 4 layers. Okay, about 5 layers of plate and tilage. Now let's look at this one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically this goes up a little bit more, so that's 7. 5 and 7. This one's a lot more. So that I had a bigger divot problem. Another very notable problem is pieces. So, starting off, these parts right here, they're actually supposed to be white, but I don't have them in white, so I did dark red because the one's better. Then, this area right here, it's mostly done like this because of the fact that I didn't have enough of the piece that builds this up around the cockpit. So I had to use, I can just take off this panel, there we go. I had to use these bricks, but take off Anakin's panel, you can see that he has the plate with the studs coming outwards, meaning that I had to improvise a lot more with my new build for Obi Wan's because of the fact that the space is very different. And I bet you've probably noticed that actually, that this back here is a brick thick, while that one is 2 plates thick. And the reason for that is this, it's the space created. So, because these go outward a little bit, there's more space created, meaning that there's an extra tile on each side that presses together to have this smaller look. So I had to remove that, so there's only one on each, and then that has more space, so remove a tile, and then I put that middle one there just to give it the nice shape. So yeah, that is a tile thicker, technically, in design. For actually attaching it, there's a tile more outwards than this. And because of that, I couldn't do as much as I normally could. But this area was very interesting because I forgot to make the little cockpit area for R2 or R3 or whatever the heck his name is. I'm sorry, friend, I don't know your name. But I forgot to make it. But then I remembered that all I have is this little head, so it doesn't even matter because I can't put him in there even if I wanted to. So I built this up and I pushed this in, and honestly, I think this looks a lot better. Another thing I did is I obviously textured this one a lot more. So you can see a lot of tiles on this, but this has way more tiles. And then the phone piece right there. Green dishes right there. There's a lot more. Another thing, going back to the whole piece, is I couldn't find that in dark red, so I used regular red. Yay. And there's a decent amount of regular red in here. That's another thing, I didn't have those in black. I knew that I had them in light gray though. But yeah, I tried to make these at least similar. And because of the fact that they are very similar, that's just kind of how that goes. But another difference here is that the wings, if you look at them closely, are not the same. And that's because I used the big wing piece. Because this is not actually the big wing piece. This is the 6x3 wedge, 6x3 wedge, 2x3 wedge, 2x3 wedge reversed. And I did this area exactly the same. But I had to improvise just a little bit because I needed the exact size, meaning that I had to get a little creative with the actual shape of the thing. And honestly, side by side, they look amazing. I really love it. I've also noticed that that one looks a little darker than that one, but that's probably because of the fact that Obi Wan is surrounded by white parts and Anakin is surrounded by gray and a little bit of black. So, of course, it's going to look a little darker because white reflects light, so that makes sense. But another thing is, like, I obviously put those there, but that is not a circle. This is the angled part, the 2x2 wedge. Just a neat fact for you there. So, I hope you enjoyed this, because honestly, I really enjoyed making that. It was a bit of a pain, and believe it or not, I actually did not look at instructions. I took certain parts apart, I figured out how this thing works, and I just built it. And I'm very surprised that I actually made this accurate of like a copy. Now, of course, there are improvised portions, but all in all, this is really accurate. I just didn't have all the right parts to make an exact copy, but honestly, I think they should be a little different. I feel like all the Jedi don't exactly have the same thing. It's at least a little different. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.